Are we okay? Thank you so much, guys, for coming here. I prefer small group. Smaller is better for me. If it is more than five, make me nervous. You know why? Because more than five, creating is some other, different talk and different opinions. More opinions, more headaches. I prefer the smaller groups. All right, so why don't we start with our conversation today? It's a very interesting topic, isn't it? So first part of my lecture will be understanding part. Second part, it's up to you. Okay? Either you find your resolution or still confused, it's up to you. But I will give you all information that I can give it to you. Okay? There's no exam, but you have to evaluate your own life, your relationship with your parents, or your relationship with your bosses, So something that you need to understand. With understanding that at least the first part, I will do my best to help you to understand differences between generations or relationship. Okay, so I will do my best. If I don't do well, let me know, guys, so that I can sharpen my skill a little better. Okay, why don't we continue? All right. In order for us to understand, especially intergenerational conflicts, we needed to understand the differences of our values and where we came from. So we're going to compare a lot of a Western, more of a American value and beliefs, and Eastern, more of a traditional value and beliefs. I can see already in the room, except Professor Margaret and none. No, maybe, but all Asians. This is Asian dominant. So, but at the same time, what you needed to understand, you may have Asian backgrounds, but many of you are born in America. And then culturally and educationally and beliefs-wise, you are more influenced, whether you consciously acknowledge it or not, influenced by the Western culture. Because education is all based on this value. Okay? So you are, in psychology, we sometimes label it third culture. So your parents' origin and your own, and in America, so all combined, third culture. So sometimes the people are looking at you, oh, you are Asian, but in your mind, I'm American too, right? And then in American point of view, when they're looking at you, so you're American. No, I have Asian backgrounds. So when do I know where my values and then my beliefs fits, right? In order for us to have a relationship and understand even better. So why don't we go one at a time? But in order for us to do more of a Q&A, I really wanted to save the last part. Although I am a main speaker for this section, you don't want to miss out Dr. Esther Park's point of view because she's more related to you guys, born and raised and getting education from America. I'm immigrant. Many years ago, I introduced myself as a fob. But some people say you are no longer fob. So I don't use it anymore, but probably I will connect it to more of a people who have a little bit of a gray hair here. Right? But Dr. Esther will relate more with you guys. So at the end, I want to save some time so you can have a more Q&A and understand the different perspectives as well. So let's look at the Western. Again, first half, there's a lot of information, but I will go very fast because this information that maybe, you can learn from your school or you can ask ChatGPT and they can give you some, organized manner that you can understand more. So Western culture, especially in America or Canada or European countries, highly emphasize the beliefs in individualism, which means you, me, personal, my choices matter. It's very important. So anything that what I feel that you needed to understand. Not that I don't care about your feeling. Yes, of course, I do care, but my feeling, my thoughts, how I make a decision is more important. Okay? And individual, your achievements. It doesn't matter what your parents' backgrounds or where you came from, but what you achieve, your individual achievement is very, very important. That's what you pursue, and then even, in the Constitution, you have to pursue your own happiness here. So pursuing personal passion. So a lot of educational system is actually emphasized and encouraged to discover what you like. What do you want? So there's a lot of questions that are evolved with that. What do you want? What do you like? What do you think you are good at? Right? So everything focus on I, me, myself. On the other hand, Asian culture is somewhat very opposite in a different side of the spectrum, that more than your personal interest is more of a group. What my family wants, what my community value, that I have to adopt that value as if that's mine. So if my father is a doctor, as if it's a very unspoken pressure that I have to be a doctor, because I have to carry that family name, right? So filial piety and your family responsibility, you as a daughter, you as a son, that duty and responsibility is very, very important, right? You as an individual, yes, you are college students, but also you have to carry the burden of as a daughter or a member of your society and your family members. So rather than independence, we have to interdependence. So if you are looking at the lifespan, so initially when you were born and growing up, we're all dependent. Even in America, until age 18, you are considered as dependent. As soon as you turn 18, you become independent. Asian culture has interdependence. Okay? So independent, but as you grow up, become a little bit more interdependent, which means we support one another. But when they become 65, our parents become dependent. What does that mean? You have to take care of them. But do you? Or are you planning on? No, because we grew up in an individual culture. But although we categorize them as a dependent, then who's going to take care of them? Government will take care of them. Okay? Right. Suddenly, our parents, okay, now I sacrificed all my life to raise you. Who will take care of them? And suddenly, they're there, lonely. Now become a babysitter, their children's children. Never take a break. But even in America, we categorize them as dependent. So if you don't take care of them, government will take care of them. But I want you to consider, in some level, that consider or taking care of them a little bit. Yes. Again, I told you I'm more of a first generation, so I will speak a lot for your parents' side. If you want to know your side, talk to Dr. Esther. So, also there's a huge differences in communication style. Western culture of a communication is a low context, which means if you are talking to me right now, who you are meeting, me, Dr. Meejan, psychologist, is all what you need. Low context. You don't need my background. What I do now is more important. What you are talking about now is more important. Where we are at, GMMA, is more important in our conversation. Okay? Also, Western culture, this is another huge differences with Western and Asian culture. We have to speak very directly. If you say no, your parents cannot take as a no. You know why? There's a 3 times rule in Asia. So your no is not no, which means ask one more time. But for you, your parents are asking another time, annoyed. right? Parents, when they say no, it's a no. Take it. Don't take it personally, just take it. They say no, right? But it has to be very direct. If they say no, it's no. They say yes, yes, yes. Okay? And disagreement is welcome. We have to share differences. So that's why your children sometimes challenge you. Tell me, it doesn't make sense to me. But for us, be quiet. This is what I said so, right? But for them, they want to know your perspective. But for us, how dare you talking to me? So for them, oh, you don't understand. And then now it's a complete rise. So they're always talking about their self-efficacy. You know, this is what I want. This is why I want to do. They always want a reason with it. You know why? School is teaching them. Share your opinions, your thoughts. Why? Tell me reasoning with that. If they don't do it, they get F. But you mad when they get F. But you talk to them, don't talk. And there's a lot of conflicts right there, right? And also they have to talk about, boast about themselves. This is what I'm good at it. This is what I don't like. And then when they're talking about it coming home, and parents say, be humble. Again, I said it more of an Eastern side. So it's more of a high context, which means they have to know all their background. So me being a psychologist, me being a Dr. Park, you know, when they're meeting me, it's important, but they have to add it another. Where did you grow up with it? What did your parents do? Where's your hometown? What did you study? After all information, oh, Dr. Park. They cannot take it, what I have at the moment. They have to know all my background. Then they can trust me. Sometimes take a long time to build a relationship right there, right? And then also, a lot of times is based on nonverbal. This is something that I learned from Dr. Esther when I just immigrated, and I don't know. Because for us, how many of you guys know the word nunchi? If you fail, if you don't have a nunchi, you fail. You will suffer. You have to know everything, what they're thinking. And then your parents say, I thought you knew. And kids say, when did you say? This is what I learned. Assumption means, assume means ask between you and me. Koreans are professional on assumption. Or all Asians. We just born to be assume everything. My mom doesn't want to go anywhere. Okay, so okay, mom, so she doesn't want to eat. I have to guess every possible that why she doesn't want to eat. And then I said, oh, maybe that's why she doesn't want to go out. And so I didn't ask, ended up. And later she said, oh, so okay. You didn't ask me twice. We have to assume everything, every step. Even many of the kids that I'm working with is telling me that my mom thinks I know everything what she's thinking. And then what kids were saying, how do I know? Can you teach me how to read my mom's mind? But you know what? That is a psychological problem of a mind reading. We're teaching kids, don't do the mind reading. But our parents always think they know how much I sacrificed. I gave you fishy head and I had tail. I thought my mom loves tail all the time. Later, my mom said, how dare you didn't give me that head. Mom, you always ate tail. Ended up, I'm a, bad daughter. Not reading her mind. How about this? Even the different meanings behind some behaviors. Just put the one thing, eye contact. Western perspectives, if you have to make eye contact, then they will say, oh, you are listening, you are respecting me, you're honest, that's why you don't look away. You're engaging with me. But the East perspective, how dare you looking at me like that? For us, I grew up in the classroom. If a teacher is saying something or try to teach something, we have to look a little bit up, down. I don't know how I learned that, but we just learn because everybody's doing that. When parents are scolding you, you have to look and then 15 degrees down. I don't know how I learned that, but everyone is doing that. But coming to America, again, I came to America age 28. I went to the school and then learning in English and then all that. My teacher called me out and then, Michin, how come you're not looking at me? Did I do something wrong? Teacher, professor, I'm giving you the respect the best I could. My teacher said, you never asked me anything. You don't even look at me. I'm so confused. All my life, 15 degrees lower. But from this to here, oh, my neck, I don't know. But from here to here, oh my God, you guys don't know how hard it was. And then your parents always look at you. How dare you looking at me like that? How dare you talking back like that? But in your classroom, your teachers are always expecting you looking at my eyes, asking a question, and challenging them with the question so that you can learn. But coming home, you did everything what you learned. You say, how dare? What confusing. Sorry, guys. I apologize. But it's not your parents' fault either. That's how we grew up. I didn't know this is what I need to do. I just knew. But from here to here, there we are. So, about silence. Okay. Western culture, silence, you don't care. You're not interested in me. You don't even engage in conversation. In Asian culture, silence is respect. We learn, don't talk too much. Be quiet. Silence is value, more value, more acceptable. We're already tired here, right? How different we are. Okay, what's next? Okay. Another one. When we have a conflict, Western culture, you guys, we allowed to ask a question if that things doesn't make sense. Until you understand, don't just pass by. But in Eastern culture, even if you don't understand, just obey. That's better. Open discussion is welcome. But here, you just have to obey to the authority. You don't question to your dad's decision, your mom's decision. Direct confrontation is not a disrespect. Because if that doesn't make sense to me, how can I work together? So we have to challenge. So why do you think Google, Amazon, all those companies are doing well? Because it's open discussions. They're welcome. I learned that's how gmail.com came from the person who is the lowest position. But welcome to share your opinions. But in Eastern culture, if you share idea, that's mine because I am the head of this department. So they take your credit. Okay, how about this? Parenting styles are also very, very different. In these days, I can kind of notice that. I think Asian value and beliefs become very powerful these days. It's almost influencing back to the Western parenting. They become like Asian these days. It's almost kind of similar, but still is a very strongly valued to their children's choice, their passion. They always ask, what do you want? Choose what you want, but give them the choice, right? Equality. So friendship like a parenting is very, very valued. independence is also very important. So when you become 18, so for us in our clinic, when parents are bringing their children around 15ish, we are already teaching them how to be ready to become independent. That's a part of our curriculum, sometimes teaching our students. But the Eastern culture is a family responsibility. Again, when you do well, it's reflected on mine. So if you do well, I'm a good mother. If you don't do well, I'm a bad mother. So you must be good. That's why the parenting is more of academic achievements, the respect and all that. Okay? And interdependence is very important. So their needs as a mom and dad is also very important. So when you ask, Mom, can you help me? Oh, it makes them feel good that I still be wanted. But if you don't ask, Mom, I can do it, it'll hurt. Even if you know how to do it, Mom, what would you do? How would you do it? They will love to hear that, right? And these days, young generation say a lot, I don't care. Because we're pushing our own passion, what we want them to be. So now they're just following obedience. Okay, good. But at the end of the high school, or even before graduating high school, when we're asking, I don't know, I don't care. Especially in a more of a high social economy classes, families spoiled. Do you know actually literal meaning of a spoiled? What do you do? Milk is spoiled. You throw it away. It smells bad. But we use that word spoil to our kids. What does that mean? Our children are getting 썩어가요. 뿌리가 썩어서 냄새가 더러운 게 나요. Which means if they go and constantly receiving, they don't know how to share, their friends don't want to hang out with them because it smells bad. In reality, their characters are bad. They only know how to receive, they don't know how to share. The Asian culture, this is what I learned. I think one time I went to Korea and visiting, and then one of the family nephews and coming back to say, Korean people these days all about spec. So I said, what is a spec? So explain to me, what is a spec? Right? So I was thinking, oh, maybe I don't understand this English. So I was kind of a spec. I cannot find the spec. Then later I realized that it was actually created by the Asian country. Spec is more of getting your resume, building your resume, building your experience. If you want your children to get spec, you have to allow them to experience it. But what do? We do all for them. They receive because it's easy. But that made our children to be spoiled. So we have to be careful how we do that. So, education, I just said that. Okay, why then these conflicts become deeply emotional? We can see that already. Huge differences, right? Relationship and how to resolve the conflicts, how to communicate with one another, even how to value of whole our being is so different. But why this is affecting our emotion? I wanted to spend a lot of time here. Okay, regardless of your Western or Eastern culture, when our children are born, there's no language. Eastern parents for their infant, Asian parents with their infants, same. Because kids, babies, cannot survive their attention. They have to survive with the parents' attention. Any countries. Interestingly, human beings the only one dependent parents until 18, 21, and so on. That's something wrong, but right? But animals, if you look at the animal kingdom, as soon as they're born, they drop from the mountain. They have to swim right away. They have to go out and they survive. Human beings are only species requires parents' attention. But think about this, okay? Human beings, as soon as they are born, their brain size is the same as adult size within the 2-3 months. The function of their brain is not developed. But God created our human body in a very, very interesting way that we use senses to survive. Did you get that? Until age 3, all our children and babies survive by senses, by looking at mom and dad's facial expression, tone of voice, body language, their skin contact. They survive, and becoming a meaning to them, they care about me through the senses, not through the language. There's no intention. They are just using those senses to survive, which means all their relationship, how our parents are engaged with them, is based on that. You don't even need to use a word. But your child, until age 3, will receive through you, your love and your care. Who cares about me? Who will protect me? Who loves me? Who's inside of me? Who's behind me? Is all through senses. So, according to Daniel Siegel, he's a very, very famous neuroscience psychiatrist right now, studied in teaching at UCLA, came up with that. All our children, regardless of whatever the culture they came from, they needed to feel safe. How can they feel safe when you are constantly yelling and fighting? How can they feel safe if you are not attentive to give them the milk on time? Another thing, they have to be seen and understood. They don't have a language ability yet to communicate with you reasonably. Mom, because I ate 10 a.m. today, I'm not hungry at 12. They cannot do that with you. So you have to just see what they need and understood with their needs. But what do? We just do whatever we wanted it to do. Then how can our children feel that they care and they matter? Things that what they do that they never pay attention to. If you notice that your children especially saying that, Mom, look at this. Look what I did. Do you know what that means? Mom, look at me. When I talk about this, I'm very, very passionate, because this is what I do all the time, every day with the kids and parents. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to get another iPad, another iPhone. Pay attention to them. How do they know that you care about them? See them, what they do. Try to understand what they're trying to communicate with you, rather than give something again, buy something again. Going a trip. Parents out of it is, oh my God, I work so hard, take you to a vacation. You remember that? Your kids don't remember that. And then when they are angry and discomfort, they want to be soothed by you. Child, it's okay. Everything is okay. Mom is right here. Dad is right here. Everything will be all right. But what do? Stop it! Ah! Go to your dad! Go to your mom! Ah! What would they think? Again, think about it. Until age 3, they have no meaning, comprehension. There's no comprehending with the logic and reason. This is all they remember. How can they trust you when they need help? You spank them. This is the reason why in psychology we disagree with spanking when they don't know what that means. They only remember the pain that my mom hit me. They don't understand the reason beyond. How can they trust? They trust in you that you will protect me, but you're hurting me. I went to you because I believe that you're gonna soothe me, but you're yelling at me. You never care about why I'm in distress. How can they feel secure? Now they grew up and then 18. Do you think they will come to you and talk to you? You have to think about that. And what's gonna happen? So this is the reason why age after 3, now they started to develop the reasoning. So all on their right brain, they're using all senses, meaning, surroundings. Finally, around age 3, they connect to the left brain. That's why they're starting to ask questions. Why? Why, mommy? What is that? Because they wanted to connect what they feel with the reason. So what do? You don't have to know. You will know later. So now is a building in their heart. With all these 3 years of experience engaging with you every day, ups and downs, now they're building it. They don't care. So I don't care. On parents' point of view, when our parents love you and children so much, they want the best for you. That's why sometimes we're very, rush and wanted to give it all, but seems like it's kind of slow. That's why they are more anxious to give you more and more angry, more frustrated. But unfortunately, your children don't know. They just want you to be there and try to understand. Now these conflicts become very personal. As I said, the event they don't remember, but they remember very subjectively how they felt at the moment. My mom didn't care. She never asked me why. After studying psychology, this was one of my projects for the class. So I have to go back because I have one memory. This was my middle school. I still remember very vividly. So I got slapped by my mom. I was actually a pretty good student and good daughter, in my opinion. But whatever I did, I really don't remember the event, the incidents. But I remember my mom slapped me. And then I remember that I cried all night. I don't know why that memory came to me during that study. So I went back on the phone, asked my Mom, I remember that during the middle school years, I don't know what it was, but you were just so upset. Maybe you fought with the dad or something, but you slapped me and said, get away, go away. It deeply hurted me. I still remember. You know why my mom said? 별걸 다 기억하네. When did I do that? I don't even remember. I said, I just wanted my mom to say, oh my gosh, I don't even remember. Sorry. That if you remember that I hurt you. 별걸 다 기억하고 있네. 전화 끊어! Just hang up the phone. She hung up the phone. The second hurt. I don't remember. Our children don't remember your intention, why you yell at them, why you took away their privileges, why you spanked them. But they remember very strongly that feeling. If you were here on Thursday, I share how our mind developed, our mind formation process. Mind is not only in our thinking, in our memory, your body remembers. Sometimes I don't even know. I'm a psychologist, guys. I know the theory of it. But when I hear when somebody, mom and or the adults are fighting and yelling, it makes me nervous. My body is suddenly being nervous because I remember that my mom and dad fought a lot, right? So I think my body was very anxious during the time. So anything related sound that I'm hearing, suddenly my body is shaking. There's one time I was in a church ministry. Again, I was a pastor back then, or before being a psychologist. I don't know, we had different arguments and all that. One of the pastors yelled at me. And suddenly my body shut it down. I literally fell on the ground and then couldn't think. I'm a very sharp woman, as you see. I'm very strong, as you see. But that one yelling, I don't know what it was, the connections. I fell on the ground and my body was shaking and I didn't know what to do. My brain couldn't process the reason and logic as an adult because my body remembers something that maybe is my dad yelled at me or something, right? Even if you don't remember, your body remembers. Our children have memories in their body. Now, out of the blue, you're just shaking, sweating. Sometimes be very defensive because you have to justify your behavior because you don't want to be wrong. As a result, now it's setting in and settling in. Now become who you are. Again, if you are here on Thursday, I don't want to go in depth about this. Now you believe about yourself based on how you were raised. How you are interacting with your children is making them how they feel about themselves. Oftentimes, parents are coming to our sessions and saying, "Oh, my child has such a low self-esteem." The self-esteem means is the feelings about themselves, about the opinions about themselves. But then where did they get the opinions about themselves? Where did they get feelings about themselves? It's all about the way we spoke to them. You're fat, you're unintelligent, you don't know how to do this, you're stupid. How come you didn't get it? Look at everybody else. Why not you? And now building it up about beliefs about myself. One of the crises that we see in psychology, everybody who are coming to either young and old, the common theme that we see, I am not good enough. Why they are not good enough? Your dear loved ones. The people you invested in so much, love so much, feeling that they are not enough. And they are ruminating with their thoughts. If my mom and dad think that I am not good enough, who will consider me as enough? No matter how hard I try, it's all based on my result. Which school that I went to, what grade that I got, what job that I get. They never ask how hard it was, how difficult it was. Oop. And then now, as a feeling is there, as we talked about it, the feeling is in your body. This is the reason why when we are having some issues with our parents, we're very annoyed and quick to respond. I have a 17 years old, my long-term patient, but she was doing pretty well and didn't come to me. And then this summer break, she came back to me and at age 17 and a half. First things was she said, "Can I talk to you without my mom?" So sure. And the first things was she's saying, "What's going on?" She said, "I'm annoyed by everything what my mom does. Even if I'm hearing my mom's voice, it's annoying me. Only one way that I can keep the relationship before I turn 18, I have to be outside. I have to make myself busy. I don't want to come home. As soon as I wake up, hearing my mom's voice irritated me. She said, help me. Again, conflict is a normal though, right? We already saw, even not a Western and the Eastern culture, all intergenerational has a conflict. Even if you go to work, even the best person you will have, best boss that you will have a conflict. Conflict is normal. But how do we feel about the conflicts? How we are doing that? At least from now on, we needed to take one step to understand each other. Reciprocate appreciation. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for being my mom. Thank you for being my daughter and son. I value this time. And mutual respect. Your child has opinions. Your parents has opinions. It's just differences. Okay? And being curious. Again, if you are here on Thursday, go back to Dr. Esther's talk. You will learn a lot. Okay. Again, this is all, related to that. But one thing that I want to know, so okay, now I understand we have differences. This is all happens, how I feel, how I think about me. But now, okay, after we leave this room, okay, now I wanted to restore my relationship with my parents. Oh, what can I do with my kids so I can have a better relationship with them? You have to take this time to build a relationship as a more of an organic way. Relationship will never happen mechanically. If it is engine problem, go and change the engine or change the car. You cannot change your kids. You cannot change your parents. We have to go organically. One thing that I enjoy the most of my free time is gardening. And in summertime, I am growing my tomatoes in a pot, small pot. And then before even today, I'm coming, oh, my little tomato is ripening. But in order for me to have this tomato, right, taste, sweetness in my mouth, this is so funny. God is really funny. In order for this tomato to grow, of course, plant the seed, water, and then, you have to pay a lot of attention in order for this tomato tree to grow. But one more thing that you need to do. There's a sucker. It's actual name, agriculture. There's between the branch, the main stem, and branch is coming out. There's a new one is coming out. They call it sucker. If you don't cut the sucker early on, it's hard to cut it. You need a scissor now. You cannot do by finger. But if you continue, the sucker is growing, your tomato is very small and not sweet. When your parents are trying to discipline you, they try to help you to cut the sucker early on so that you can bear much fruits. But when you wanted to cut the sucker, do it early on. It will be less painful. It's really funny. God is very, very funny. Okay, so next 5 minutes, I will use more of this. This is GMMA Conference. So I need to give you some good news here. I didn't grow up with Mr. Rogers. How many of you grew up with Mr. Rogers? At least knew who Mr. Rogers is. Okay, good. If you don't know, wonderful, wonderful. Nah, watch some episode. This is what it said. No matter how old or young we are, we learn best from people who care about us. It's through relationship that we learn best and grow best. When you care about someone and know that person cares about you, you want to learn from them and strive to be your best. Isn't it beautiful? If you want to teach something to your kids, let them know you care. But more organically. Don't try to fix their behavior. How can we do that? The best analogy is the road to the Emmaus. Again, Dr. Esther used on Thursday. If you want to know more, ask the staff to listen to that lecture. Road to the Emmaus is Jesus demonstrate how to develop a relationship the best way. After he resurrected and he appeared to the disciples, right? They're doubting, they're talking about it. He knew, but he didn't just go and say, hey guys, I'm here. All you are thinking is wrong. All you believe is wrong. I am your evidence. Forget it. Just follow me. He didn't do that. He just walked with them side by side and then say, get this. What are you guys talking about? Tell me more. Oh, yeah? Tell me. And he just keep walking with them. And these two disciples just keep talking to Jesus. What happened? Oh, yeah? Tell me more. And Jesus said, what thing? He kept asking. Our parents sometimes say, I know better than you. Jesus knows better than that. But Jesus even asked the question. Really? Tell me more. Why? Because he wanted to listen. Want to show that you mattered. And then when the moment comes and disciples are asking, then Jesus unfolds from the Moses to all the prophet. And you know what happened? Their eyes are open, their heart beats. And then disciples are inviting Jesus, come on, let's have a meal together. Parents, one thing that I can ask, wait until they invite your advice. Children, I don't know what to say. Since I don't know what to say, because sometimes it's harder to tell you compared to the parents, just listen. I can tell them because I know one thing for sure, they love you. Their intention is good. So I can tell them, if you love them, quiet and listen. And wait for the moment. I can tell them because I know their love. But from you, whatever the background that you came from, probably there's some unresolved issues in you. I cannot tell you, get rid of it. I cannot tell you, forget it. Because you know, it hurts. I told you, my mom hung up on me. I don't share anymore with my mom. I just accept that. If you have a Bible, I want to close before I invite Dr. Esther. Since I don't know what to tell you, I just wanted to share what God is telling us. If you have a time, go back to read entire chapter of Colossians chapter 3. But I will just read the verse 7. Anyone who has a Bible, actually? Or anyone can read it for me? Huh? Oh, yeah, I will read it then. It's kind of hard to read, but you used to walk in these ways in the life you once lived, but now you must rid yourselves of all such things as this: anger, rage, malice, slander, and filthy language from your lips. Do not lie to each other, since you have taken off your old self with its practices and have put on the new self, which is being renewed in knowledge in the image of its creator. Here there is no Greek or Jews, circumcised or uncircumcised, barbarians, Scythian, slave or free, but Christ is all and is in all. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other and forgive whatever grievance you may have against one another. Forgive as the Lord forgive you. And overall, these virtues put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. I'm praying that God speak to you as something that is beyond our ability, especially forgive someone who deeply hurt us, especially people who must love us. That our memory and feelings that we have is more of a resentfulness. It's hard to forgive. But you know what? Jesus let go all, knowing that, coming down to see you and meet you and tell you, I love you. I love you. You are enough. I will take it all your past and your scar, your old self on me, so that God made him sin. He took it all. And he's telling you, it's finished. Now I want you to put on love of Jesus Christ. Starting from now on, just put on love. And remember Jesus. There's someone who loves you dearly. Only one thing that he's missing in heaven, wanted to gain, was you. Who died for to have you. Our parents are not perfect. Our children are not perfect. So that Jesus made it perfect. And this is the reason why I believe Christianity is the best way to live. Because we cannot find in anywhere about these promises. Guys, because what Jesus has done, I could say confidently, I love you too. Not like your parents love you though. Parents, God loves you as well. Now let's put on love. And now see them and helping them. Cut the sucker early on. But if it's too late, be gentle. Because it hurts. What a greatness for what Jesus offered to us. Let's receive. Thank you. I'm going to invite Dr. Esther. 네? Oh, I think we can stay. Sit. She's the boss. I have to listen. 같이요? 네.
We only have there's only about 10 minutes. So
10 minutes.
you'll have to quickly ask your urgent questions. So the ones who raise their hands first will be able to go first. Oh, this is for the audience.
Oh, I think the room is small enough.
This is recorded.
I see.
First question.
We have extra money.
Oh, you do? Oh. That's okay. So shy.
Any questions?
Yeah. Or clarification.
Dr. Esther is a child adolescent psychiatrist. It's very hard to get her opinions too, so take advantage of this.
Yeah.
네.
I'm a mother of three grown-up kids, and I raised them. I thought.
Can we, please, so that it'll be captured on the recording? Yes.
I am Peggy, and I three grown-up kids. We have when they turn teenagers, they walk away from church, and I didn't push them. I just felt like their argument was, Mom, they share all their struggles and all their I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I don't have any. So I don't really fit category. And all my toys are superheroes. I have no villains. It's encouraging to fight each other because people. And then, so that was their argument growing up, and I still have struggled because initially they were very, very resistant whenever I share my faith. But they now allow me to share my faith, but they just don't want to. So right now I'm just resorted to family, but is there anything more? And what can I do to really encourage them? I just feel so much urgency. I just don't want to waste time. Um, I long for the day that I serve God together. That the meal table and really share what is God doing in your life.
For sure. I want to encourage you that as much as your heart and your ache for them to really meet Jesus personally is out of your deep love. There's no one who's going to pray for them like you. But to encourage you, God the Father loves them more than you. So as much as you are aching and praying for them, He is waiting for them, knocking at their door slowly, at the pace that they need. And so if we're going to pound on their door as a human caretaker, and they will mistake that as God, then they will be more resistant. They'll be more resistant. That's not your intention, right? And so as you're praying for them, the only thing I feel like we can do as parents, this is the same thing I mentioned like years ago to someone when this mother asked me, what should I do? And I said, I think possibly the only thing we can do is we enjoy Emmanuel, God being with me. And that has to be a natural reflection of the reality of Christ in my life. This room is called Emmanuel, actually. God is with us. So I have to show how much fun I am having with Jesus, my maker, so that not only my children and my relatives, my coworkers, my friends, that they can see, why are you having so much fun even though you're having hardship too? What is giving you that strength and power? So even our own children, our home is the hardest mission field. It really is. We're talking about missions, going out to other countries and other people groups, but our home is the hardest mission field. So we have to ask God for that strength and filling of the Spirit from within our own home. And then we can see what He can do through us as a family. Thank you for your vulnerable sharing. Yes, we're just going to give you the mic. Yeah.
I just had a quick question with the two different viewpoints, because like most of us, or at least mine, there aren't many people my age, but I'm kind of split.
Yes.
So I talked to a lot of younger women at church. There's one person in particular that I'm thinking of. So she is a faithful Christian, but her mom is not, and so there is that distinct cultural divide. And I see a lot of, I think the younger generation, I think with all the input from just the Western culture, just the impact that has had, where she wants to witness to her brother, but people tell her, just have your boundaries. Like you don't need to, she doesn't need to be part of your life. Like, so it's very, very like black and white in terms of what you were sharing, which I thought was really interesting. And so she has those two opposing cultural views, yet she's a Christian and her mom is not. And so there's a lot of conflict there, there's a lot of turmoil, guilt, yet there's also a lot of about
Um, even without the Christian context here, since his mother is not a believer, how do you feel when you drive, if it's a panhandler and homeless people there, and then asking for water? We do have a genuine compassion as our parents, whether they're a believer or not, or scars or things that I grew up with, still they raised me. The compassion is just what we already have. That if I'm able to give a meal, a water to the panhandler, it wouldn't be a big issue that I can have a meal with my mother. And that will start the relationship. Just enjoying the mealtime, just checking on, how are you, mom? Eventually, it will melt her heart. Because again, relationship, in order for them to hear our value, they needed to have this good feeling about us. They have to like me in order for them to learn or receive advice that I want to give it to, or share that I wanted to share. Like Mr. Rogers said, we learn the best and most from the people who care. We have to share the care and compassion and put on love.
This is really an important question. I think many of us have that same situation where we feel like we're morphing back and forth into the collectivistic culture and individual, and sometimes it's a blend when we're in a family situation of the grandparent generation and parent generation, like different levels that we have to deal with. And how do I not compromise the valuable Western values that I think is valuable to me as well? Like, in fact, boundaries is exactly, right? So, since she is a believer, and she's going to ask God for wisdom of how not to compromise either her own faith and also this respect for the elders and respecting their opinions, and how to adopt that without compromising my faith in Christ. And there is a way, really a good way to do that, and she can find that wisdom from God. So, for example, maybe there's a misunderstanding of like, why are you going to church? You never spend time with me. And it happens to be a Sunday morning that the mother wants to spend time with her. So you should, and then she might blame church for stealing time from her. So that might be a good example. I'm just making up something right now. Instead of creating that boundaries, you know what? This is more important to me. The mom might not understand that. How can anything be more important to me than my relationship as a mother? Even though biblically, yes, God is more important than anything else in the world. But in this field of evangelism in her own home, right, to offend her mom who has Eastern values, right, in that manner, suddenly they will look at Christianity as it steals family. It breaks family. It'll have that distortion. So there could be a wise way of saying something. I understand you want to really spend time with me. Is there any way that we can do it this afternoon? Or is there any way to do it next Sunday morning? And it's okay to miss like just one Sunday, okay? But to have like a pre-promise. Or can I promise you Saturday all day? Okay? So I feel that, that there could be a way to really kind of do both in that manner.
Yeah, I will give this gift to your friends and tell her at the moment, yes, mom. Yes, mom. It's a gift for your friends.
That's just a stress ball in the shape of an acorn. And our name of Oak Health Foundation was inspired by Isaiah 61, that we have the DNA that God gave us to have a potential of becoming an oak of righteousness. And so it's an amazing biology analogy, that that small seed can become a mighty oak to bless many other people. So I think we're out of time, right, Kevin?
Oh, well, after this is asking time. So if you don't mind, then I don't mind you guys staying in.
Okay, then one more question. We'll do one more.
Then one more question.
If you raise your hand, you get it.
Yeah, so I was just wondering, when engaging in conversations with whether that be parents or mentors or just someone older than you, and they have more of a Eastern perspective, and so when you're in a conversation where there is probably a disagreement and their view is more so, I am your authority, listen to me, and final say. I think I grew up a lot with that, and so my siblings and I have kind of just like in conversation realized that we've had to come to the adoption of saying yes and okay and just okay. And so that's included with whether that be mentors and whatever I'm in. And so how would you advise to approach those situations? You do believe that there is something that you want to stand on, and there's obviously disagreeing with it, but there's so much like, what I'm saying is kind
of. Okay, excellent question. In that heated moment, I don't advise pushing it, because the more you push to somebody with a cultural background, that you're pushing continues to be a rebellious view. I'm not saying you need to condone and agree, but you can say the word yes in different ways, without yes meaning what you're saying is absolutely true and I totally agree with you. So a lot of times we who grew up in the Western culture, yes and no is so clear, right? That we don't want to say yes and no, because to us that means, yes, you're totally right and I'm totally wrong. There's a way to say, I hear you. I understand what you're saying. That doesn't mean I agree with you. Now, I'm not saying you should say, I disagree with you, right? Because that's not what they want to hear. I think it is enough for them to say, you heard me, right? And I think they know you don't agree. Deep down inside, they know it's not really going to get through you. But what they will respect is it's not arousing you to be triggered, to argue back, to yell back, and roll your eyes also. For them, they will see you as a mature adult to be able to hear and just say, okay, I hear you. Or even the words, I'll think about it. You may think that's a compromise, but it isn't. You're going to think about what they're saying and what just happened, right? So you can say, I'll think about it. Yeah. Thank you for your explanation. A lot of times it's hard to say thank you because you think, I'm not going to thank them. I just totally disagree with them. They're totally wrong, right? Why should I thank them for that? But thanking them for expressing what they think is okay. Thank you for this time and letting me actually say what I need to say. I will take your words into consideration. That does not mean you're gonna do it, you're gonna change your mind, because no one's asking you to do that. They're asking you to do that, but you're not asking yourself to do that. You just have to express respect that that's what you think. You don't have to add the words under your breath, I wish you could continue to consideration what I think. But they will. Seeing your respectful behavior, they will. Yeah. I hope that helps.
That's actually Argentinian way of reconciliation.
Argentinian?
Yeah, they just have to say it, and then the other person will
Yeah.
I can see that you can think that way.
Okay.
Okay.
Would you like to? Okay. Oh, sure. Jennifer.
So kind of going back on her question about like evangelizing the parents for my father, what was my husband. He's in his 80s. We feel an urgency. However, like when Marshall was a child, his dad was going to church. We don't know what happened, but he left very early. He still harbored a lot of resentment toward the church. I don't know, like we don't know what to do. Every time we bring up church, or even the fact that we go, he's disappointed in us for going to church. So like, how do you
evangelism, when you really think about it, is the testimony. I think often we are approaching with the theology, what Jesus has done. What Jesus has done is, again, included all the goodness of the gospel, right? But of course, when we know each other, we can say, yes, Jesus has done what, all that forgiveness and all that. But when somebody who were hurt by the organization, institution, church, leadership, we're all also humans, right? So instead of kind of going at it more of a theology, what does that really mean to you, me? Because it's a story. When you're looking at it, the reason why gospel is still spread is so powerfully in every nation, in every culture, because if it's your story, no one can object that. It's your story. If it is my testimony, who could say, right? But when I say and what I believe, what happened to me, why I believe, no one can deny that. It's up to them to accept it or not. But when we are approaching it again, knowledge, theology, story about in a book of something, people already get turned off. But even non-believers or other religions, if you are sharing your life transformation, changes, people are listening to it because it's your story. So I think that would be the best way that we can approach, especially people who are hurt or non-believers.
And in this time, the time for healing of that scar might take some time. I know and feel your urgency because of the age. But God created the earth in a couple of days, and He can split the sea in 2 seconds, right? So I wonder if you can let go and really just love, right? Love without the agenda, because anybody can feel an agenda from an evangelist, and that's why it's difficult. Because sometimes there's an urgency. There's only 1 hour. There's only 1 week of a mission trip, and there's this urgency. And God is in His time. It will be a perfect timing. So while waiting, loving and loving, being filled with God's love first. Right? We have to be filled with His love to be able to do that, to the point where it's almost sacrificial from you because of the sacrificial love from God. Then one day it can touch something and start that healing process. The hurt that's from an institution, a lot of times in our sessions, it's being called religious trauma. It's really real. And then how are we going to reverse that? Only the Spirit of God can reverse that. And so as we deeply pray against the enemy, placing this distortion in his mind, equating the church and God, that's like a big distortion, right? That's why so many people say the church is hypocritical, which is true, actually. There's just so many things we've been hurting other people unknowingly or knowingly. So as you're waiting and praying, pour love. You don't have to say the word Jesus. Jesus is living in you. And that love and power from the Lord, loving Him, God will do that speaking. And then one day that moment may come.
Mm-hmm. Like Peter, right? Inviting Jesus inviting him, let's eat, bring fish, let's cook and they eat. He just said, do you love me? We just, yeah. We can have actually
can you visit our booth? Because we have to go for some sessions right now.
Yeah.
Thank you.